Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this MSI GS63 Stealth 8RE-010US, and then there's a whole bunch of other numbers there, but I'm not going to read that because it's super long and I don't think people are going to use that. Alright, so this one, the charge port is messed up. So if we plug this in, you can see this light is not on, but if I push it like really hard, I don't know if you can see it, but it's on now. Yep, okay, I can see it. So, but if I let go, it turns off, okay? So the charge port in here is broken, so we are going to have to replace that. I'll also go over the internal components that I see as well, okay? Most likely we're gonna have to take the entire motherboard out of here, so yeah, we're gonna do a complete disassembly. All right, we're gonna use a JS1 screwdriver to remove all the screws from the bottom. You wanna keep them in order because they can be different size, shape, and length. The way I do that, I put them flat side down. I don't know if you can even see it, like this, on my desk in the pattern. I remove them, okay, so we'll go across. We have 3 up here, okay, towards the back, and then we'll just go along. We got like 1, 2, 3, and just put in whatever pattern helps you remember where you got them from. Alright, if this video helps you out, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their device as well. And if it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, I don't know if somebody opened this before because some of these screws are kind of like stuck in there. So I'm going to use like a little magnet as well to try and pull these screws up. Let me see here, okay. Let's see if I can get that one out. There we go. Alright, I don't know if somebody moved some of these screws, but there is the factory seal still sealed there, so they didn't take it completely out if they did. But again, some of these screws can be different size, shape, and length, so very important, keep them all in order. Alright, also there's a little battery reset button here, so you have to use like you can use like folded out small paper clip or a pin or needle or something to push that. If for some reason your computer's having issues turning on or something, you can try pressing and holding that for about 15 seconds, see if it helps with anything. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it really depends what the issue is. Okay, so there's all of that, and then we got 4 going along here. Oh, I missed one right there. So make sure you get all the screws. There are quite a lot of them. Okay, oh, also there's one underneath the factory seal, of course, so we do have to remove that as well. Stuck. I'm gonna use a magnet to help get it out if I can. Huh, this one's like really stuck in there. Maybe it's attached to the case. Okay. Alright, oh, don't forget this one. Okay. See, there. Okay, let's see if we can pop this out now. So usually to get this up, this one, because it's all wrapped with this fabric, makes it a bit more difficult to get out, but I just use my fingernail along the little gaps here and I try and like pop the clips out. Again, you can use plastic pry tools as well, obviously, if you don't have fingernails. It looks like they kind of smashed this all up, so it might be difficult to get this apart. We'll see. Alright. But basically you would pull this away from this so that you can kind of pull this up. And you can see how some of it is popping out. I'm going to continue working our way down here and lifting that. And there we go. We're going to work our way towards the back now as well. Pulling that back, and you can see it's popping out. Okay, and also, yeah, this piece comes out. So this piece, we will end up, of course, I'll show how to put it back in, but I don't know if this bent and broken piece is going to cause some problems. Okay, anyways, that's normal for that piece to come out. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and lift this up, and I got to be careful with this bottom screw because this one for some reason wasn't coming out, but there we go, it came out now. Alright, put that in the pattern with all the rest. It is a bit dusty, so I am going to have to take this out and clean it up a bit. But yeah, I'll set that aside for now. Alright, next thing we're going to do, this battery, if I remember correctly, is held in place with adhesive, so it's kind of annoying. Hopefully I won't have to take it out, but I probably will because all these connectors are blocked by it. Unless I could somehow just lift the motherboard enough to like heat it and get that out, but I think I'm gonna have to actually physically take it out. Okay, let me double check the charge port here to make sure it matches. So we got the replacement charge port, and it looks like this. Let's take it out because they put the pins face down so I can't really see it. And okay, it looks like it should be right, so we should be good. We're gonna have to take the entire motherboard out, and this one, oh, here's some broken plastic, we're gonna take that out. But yeah, this one does tend to be a big pain in the butt. Alright, we're gonna have to get this battery out. I'm gonna zoom in here. Let's see, there's a battery model number here if you want to replace the battery. BTY-M6J, okay, BTY-M6J. So if you want to replace the battery, there's that. Okay, so to get the battery out, I'm going to use this thin metal tool. Somebody's probably going to complain and say don't use metal tools on batteries, but as long as you know what you're doing, you'll be okay. You don't want to use a knife. You can see how flexible this thing is. We're basically just going to get underneath and then apply some pressure to kind of pull it up. Okay, so we're gonna kind of tilt it up back like this, and you can see the adhesive is slowly peeling away. Okay, or maybe you can't because it's kind of far. But we're just gonna slowly peel this. You don't want to try and quickly rip it out because the adhesive peels slowly. So I'm gonna kind of get in between the adhesive and that and kind of wiggle it to pull it out. Okay, but yeah, this battery is kind of a pain because of all that. So I'm just getting this tool under there and kind of flexing it. Okay, this one, you can see it slowly peels up. Again, you want to go slow, and it should slowly peel away. You don't want to try and quickly pry it. And this tool, because it flexes, it kind of just constantly applies a slow force to it. And you can see, there we go. Okay, this one actually came out pretty nice. It did tear this one, but the rest seem to be intact. So this one, the foam actually split in half. All right, we're gonna remove the battery. So to do that, let me actually zoom in a little bit to show you. But basically I try and grab as close as I can to the connector, and I'm gonna wiggle it like side to side or up and down, whatever you wanna call it, but side to side like this as we pull it, and just keep slowly applying force, pulling it as you're kind of wiggling it. And it should eventually, there you go, walk itself out. And of course you want to be careful because all these other cables are here, so make sure you don't damage those. Okay, so I'm going to clean this stuff off real quick. One other thing you do need to do is we're going to press and hold the power button to drain any residual power. So we cleaned this off because it was really dusty. So we'll set that battery aside for now. Okay. Alright, and then we're going to carefully open this back up. You want to go very slowly because the hinges don't have as much support with the screws missing on the sides. But we're going to carefully open this up. And then we're going to go ahead and press and hold the power button here on the side for at least 15 seconds. Alright, this drains any residual power and makes it a lot safer to work on since we're taking the entire motherboard out. It's very important. Doing this is mostly important if you're going to mess with the screen LCD LVDS connector, and because we're again taking the entire thing apart, we are going to be messing with that. Okay, so there we go, we did the power drain. I'm going to clean the dust out of here real quick and then I'll be back, but yeah, let me go ahead and get the camera set up for a thumbnail when I get back, and then we'll go from there. Alright, I'll be back, see you guys in a bit. Alright, so I'm back. I cleaned it up quite a bit. Okay, you can see it's a lot less dusty inside. The fans are a lot cleaner inside as well. Okay, there's some stuff that doesn't really come off of it, but overall it's a lot cleaner now. Okay, alright, so we already did the power drain. There's also the CMOS BIOS battery here, if you're wondering. Plugs in right there, and it's right here. Okay, so let's see. We're gonna have to go ahead and disconnect everything to pull the motherboard out. Oops, I missed this spot. Cleaning. Okay. So yeah, this kind of repair is going to be somewhat of a pain, but we gotta do what we gotta do. So let's get this thing all apart. Let's see if I can zoom in here a bit and show you guys all the stuff. Clean all those crumbs off my desk. Okay, there's no screws up on that spot. Maybe I should keep it zoomed out so you can see the whole thing while I work on it. Okay, or majority of it. Alright, so what I like to do here, because there's no way to tell where the screws came from, so usually what I'll do is I'll take a marker. Oh, I think I brought my marker inside. Let me go grab that and I'll be back, and I'll mark where I took the screws out from here, so that way I can keep track of those, because they don't really have a way to tell you where it came from. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. So we got a marker. We're going to remove these screws. Again, these are all JAS1 screws. And I'm going to make a little blue mark on here just so I know that's where I took the screw from. Okay, then we'll get this one out. Okay, same thing. We'll make a little blue mark there. Alright, we got another one here. Another blue mark there. What else we got? There's one up here. Mark there. Hopefully I didn't mark any of the wrong spots. Okay. So I think that's those. We are going to have to remove the wireless card screw as well. But I think we probably, oh, there's one hidden underneath the LCD LVDS connector. So let's zoom in here, because we are going to have to start removing connectors here. They put all this tape, so it's going to be a little bit annoying. Alright, we're going to peel this up. We're going to flip this latch up and out of the way. Oh, this tape is coming out. I'm just going to leave it stuck there for now. And then this, we got to lift up slightly and then pull it back. Okay, it does stick down the side of the fan over here, so we are going to have to get that out. But let's get this screw out. Okay, mark that one as well. Okay, let's zoom out a bit more because it's hard to get all of this in frame. We're gonna have to peel this up. You want to try and keep this cable as flat as possible. You don't want to like fold it backwards. So I kind of like pull it, stretch it that way as I'm kind of like pulling it up. So like this. Okay, and then now I gotta pull it down this way while I kind of rotate it, and there we go. So I got that, and we're gonna flip that cable out of the way there. Okay, we got all these little adhesive bits that we're gonna have to peel up. Very annoying, but let's go ahead and peel that up. I guess let's go ahead and peel it from this, oops, sorry. Let's go ahead and peel it from this side because that side's easier. Then we'll flip this latch up, and then we can go ahead and pull this cable back. Actually, it's a little bit stuck, so let's go ahead and peel it from this side as well. While you're peeling this, make sure that you're not poking at the little wire, or the, what do you call those, pins there, okay? And then we can pull this, and we can pull this, so we'll set that aside. Okay, then we got to peel up more of this stuff. Alright, and if you're wondering, the RAM and everything is underneath the motherboard. Kind of an annoying design. We're gonna, oops, let me zoom out. Put that there for now. Alright, so this board, the USB, sorry, not the USB, the SD card slot and the Ethernet is on its own separate board. 2 screws, then you can pop that out. I'm going to leave that in for now. Then we got the wireless card here. Actually, I might have to remove it to get to the wireless antenna, so let's take those out. Man, too many pieces on this one. That, and this one. Okay, since there's only 2 screw holes, I don't need to mark it, but we can lift that and get that out. Okay, it's a little dusty, so we'll set that aside. Lots of components here. Okay. All right, now we got access to the wireless antennas. So to remove those, you just pull up from the tail. Okay, so go from the tail. Let me show you with the little plastic tool. It's probably easier to see. So you go from the tail here, and then you just pull it straight up, just like that. Okay, same thing with the white one, and pull it straight up. These connectors, a lot of times get a little bit scary to take out because they don't solder these things down well, and sometimes they break off. But anyways, the black wire went to the black arrow and the white wire went to the white arrow. Okay, and if you need a close-up for the wireless card, there you go, Intel model. Hopefully you can read that because, yeah, it's a 9560 NGW. Okay, anyways, let's go ahead and unscrew that and take that out. Okay, looks like we had a screw hidden underneath, so we'll take this out and we'll set that aside. And I guess it's a good thing, was this covering that? No, that wasn't covering it. I guess it's just camouflaged. So we have one more screw here that we do need to take out. All right, right there on that fan. I don't know why I didn't see that earlier, but there we go. Okay, so do we got all those screws out? I think so. Now we just gotta disconnect all the cables. Give me a second because I need to check some messages. All right, so let's go ahead and see what else we gotta disconnect here. There's a lot of connectors here, so keep in mind this is not an easy thing to just pop out. Okay, we're gonna flip up that latch and we're gonna pull this connector out. Okay. Once you've done that, if you want, you can put that back down and put the adhesive back in place. Okay, we got to go down here. We got this connector, which is for the 3 USB 3 ports and the headphone jack here. All right, the headphone and microphone jack. Okay, so let's get up over there. Oh, actually, we only need to remove this one. I'm not going to remove everything. So let's go ahead and remove this. We're going to have to peel this adhesive stuff out of the way. Okay, interesting, they put this little rubber piece stuck on there. Okay, so I'm going to just peel this all out of the way, and we're going to flip this one for the keyboard connector and then pull that out. That's for the keyboard. Got this one for the touchpad trackpad, and then you got to be careful with this cable, but there you go. And then this one for that other board that I was talking about. Okay, oh, we gotta lift it slightly and pull that out. Come on, why is it not coming out easily? There we go. Okay, and it looks like there's another cable underneath, so I do need to, looks like I do need to take that board out, so we'll slide that out from under here. It doesn't matter if this cable's on top or underneath, so you can technically just put it back on. Then we have this for the speakers. I'm going to grab the wings and just wiggle as I pull, and we're just going to continue wiggling it until it pops out. There we go. Okay, we got this little cable down here that connects to this. Let me zoom out more. So we got this little cable here that connects to this board here, which connects the keyboard, and I don't know if it connects anything else, but I see the keyboard for sure. It looks like part of this cable goes underneath the motherboard here, so I might actually have to take this out. I was hoping I wouldn't have to take so many pieces out, but it looks like I will. So let's take this out. I'm going to mark that because there's only a screw on that and not in the other corner. And can I get this out without having to take up all these wireless antenna wires? I might have to take those out. So, okay, let's lift this speaker out. Sorry, I said wireless antenna, but it's a speaker. And then we can move that out of the way. We can carefully lift this up, and you can see the cable actually goes underneath. Oh, there's adhesive holding it as well, but underneath you have the other cable. So we're going to flip that latch up and then pull that out. Okay, I'm going to set this aside for now as well. Man, there's too many components to this thing. Okay, we got this cable. I'm going to carefully peel this off. Be careful not to crease it. I'm going to hold this adhesive pad down. There we go. Okay, so this cable I'm going to have to slide underneath all of these. When I put it back, I'm just going to leave it on top. Again, it doesn't need to be underneath. Okay, we're going to disconnect this one now. So let's peel this up. And this one goes again out to this keyboard connector. So I guess the keyboard actually has two connectors. I'm wondering where's the keyboard backlight connector. Well, all right, let me put this speaker back over this way. We're gonna work our way over to this side. What do I do with all this stuff? There's too many pieces. Okay, then we got the hard drive here. So we're gonna peel this up and we're gonna flip this latch to unlatch the hard drive connector and then carefully pull that out. Okay, the hard drive is probably going to be a little bit difficult. I'm going to try and get from the side here and lift it. Oh yeah, that works. And then we'll just rotate it and take that out. So there's the hard drive. 2.5 inch SATA hard drive. You can upgrade that to a 2.5 inch SATA SSD. I don't know why they put a spinning hard drive in this kind of laptop because it's a gaming one. I would upgrade it. Alright, anyways, you got this for the LED indicators on the front. So we'll flip that latch up. And we'll pull that out. Okay, CMOS battery, I guess we'll take that out eventually as well. We got this little connector here. This is for the power button, so be very careful. If you damage this, you're not going to be able to turn on the computer. Okay, so flip that, and we'll probably use the little pull tab, but I need to kind of lift it slightly and get that out. There we go. Okay, and I think that might be all the connectors that we had to disconnect, other than the again, the CMOS BIOS battery. So what we're going to do now, let's zoom out a little bit more, make sure this cable is out of the way again, and we're going to lift from here, this slot, the wireless card slot area. We'll lift from there and from here, okay, and carefully make sure no cables are getting stuck or caught on anything. Again, this cable is under there, so we are going to have to be careful with that. Now that we have access to this, we're going to grab this, the CMOS BIOS connector, and we're gonna carefully pinch it and wiggle it out. Okay, so wiggle that, there we go. Now we're gonna continue carefully lifting this board up, and of course again guiding this wire out of there. Okay, slowly, carefully. Get that keyboard wire off. Okay, and then we're gonna rotate this and get this wire out from under there. There we go. And here you can see, if you want, now you have access to that. You got 2 sticks of RAM here, and actually there's an M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD there. So this design is stupid. They put everything on the bottom, but it is what it is. We can't change the design once they did it. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. Had to clean out some dust from it. There's a lot of dust underneath as well. I am going to show the RAM a little bit more close up. We'll pull these 2 tabs to the side. It pops up. Usually it doesn't pop out like that, but there we go. All right, the RAM is 8 gigs, PC4 2666V. So you can put any PC4 2666V RAM, should be fine. But if you want to upgrade, yeah. I think they have 16 gig sticks. I don't think they have 32 gig sticks. So if you want, you can put 2 16 gigs and have 32 gigs total. But other than that, yeah. Then you got the M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD here. 1 screw, it pops up slightly at an angle, and you can pull it out just like the RAM. Okay. So pretty sure. Actually, there's an M.2 SATA. I don't know. I would assume this supports PCIe NVMe, but I'm not 100% sure. They use the M.2 SATA SSD here, which is, I don't know, kind of weird. Maybe it doesn't support PCIe NVMe. if one of you guys try it, let me know. Feel free to post in the comment section below and let us know that we can upgrade it to a PCIe NVMe SSD. Okay, so we got all of that. Let's get this dust off. Okay, and it really sucks that they put the RAM underneath, because sometimes if the RAM has issues, it won't turn on, and you might have to get to it just to like reseat the RAM to make sure to click it back into place properly. But yeah, other than that, now we got access to the thing here. And if I look at this, the charge port itself isn't broken, but if you look here, I mean, this little piece, that middle pin, it has a crack in it. I don't know if you can even see that, but there's a crack in it down there. So rather than replacing the entire charge port, we can actually just solder that piece, add some solder so it extends all the way down. But let me actually check with the charger real quick. I'm gonna test the charger. I'm gonna unplug it real quick, but I'm gonna plug it in, and then I'm gonna look close up at it and see if it's just cracked. Because if it is just cracked, we don't actually have to replace that charge port, and it will be actually better to do it that way. I don't know if I should use this. Let me see if because there's still power in there, so I'm gonna use a charge port that just fits it. I think this one. And yeah, all right, let's see, we'll plug this in. So I got that plugged in, and then I'm gonna wiggle this a little and see, because oh yeah, it's like wiggling in and out. So actually the only issue is this middle pin is having some issues connecting. So rather than desoldering the entire thing, we're gonna see if we can fix that. And I can actually see, if you look here, I probably should have looked closer, but as you look, you can see it's not really making a good connection there. So all we have to do is get a lot more solder to flow into there, and we should be okay. So let me zoom in. If I can get the solder to just flow down this little piece here, then that should fix the issue. Hopefully the solder pads aren't broken, because if that's the case, then that's going to be a very difficult fix. Okay, let me see here. So I need to move some stuff out of the way so I can record this. Okay. And let me put this thing back in. So yeah, I noticed when I move it, the pin actually isn't broken, it's just not connecting there. And too bad oh, there we go, that's way clearer. So basically I just got to get some solder to go in there and make a decent connection, and then I can actually test it with the voltmeter in the ohms, checking the resistance to see if I get a connection from the outer part to the inner part. So let me actually see if I can show you guys this. So we're gonna use this, and we're gonna try and read the resistance through the pin here. So we're gonna touch one pin here, and if we touch outside here, you can see nothing is happening when I go on the corner here, but when I actually touch the middle, then it goes perfectly fine. So the charge port's actually okay, it's just that piece that's bad. So I'm gonna actually have to clean it up and then add some solder, because yeah, that looks kind of bad there. Alright, so I'm gonna scrape this thingy up here to get that gunk off. Whoever did the solder did a bad job, but there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna get a soldering iron, I'm gonna get it ready, and I'll be back. So we're basically just gonna heat this part up and add some solder there. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Alright, so I'm back, and to get a better solder connection, I'm also going to put some flux there because it looks like they didn't get it to seat properly. So let's put a little bit of the flux there. That might be too much actually, but this will help the solder flow and actually go where it needs to go. Okay. All right, let's see if this is going to work. All right, clean off the soldering iron real quick. All right, so we're going to heat this up. And then we're going to try and apply the solder right there. So let's melt that stuff. And I might have to actually melt some solder on first. Okay, so there's the solder, and I don't know if you can see it right there. I'm getting it onto there. It's not really sticking to the outer edges, so we do need to try and heat and scrape that up to get it a better solid solder. And there we go. Looks like it's working. So we're gonna put some more solder. Get that to flow in. And now what we want to check, we want to check the other side of this. I do see some solder in there, but let me see, I don't know if I can show this. So the solder did flow to the other side. The question is if it's actually sticking to that piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of the flux on there, and then when we melt it, hopefully that will get the solder to flow. And actually I have a better way to do this, because I have this liquid solder stuff. Okay, where is it? So I have this kind of liquid solder stuff in a syringe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put the solder directly on there, and then when I heat it, it should melt. Now I can't see what I'm doing, so okay, we're over here. Okay, so I'm gonna put some solder in there, and hopefully when I heat that up, it will get hot enough that it should just melt onto it. Okay, so there we go. Let me see if I can zoom in again. You can see it right there. Oop, why did it zoom out? Until I press the one-time button. Okay, so we're gonna try and heat that and get it to flow on. I don't think I can get that on video because of the way I have to hold it to do this. But yeah, no, I'm not gonna be able to do that. So I'm gonna just heat this up from this side. Okay, and then we'll see if that works. So I'm gonna heat this up a lot more. And let's see, is it working? Not really. So I'm gonna have to manually heat it from this side actually. Okay, so it looks like it's working, but it's not really sticking to that piece. Let's go ahead and heat this up some more. Why isn't it focusing right? There we go. Let's heat that up some more. Get it to flow in there a bit better. Okay. There we go. Now, I'm going to clean this thing up with soldering iron real quick. Okay, we got the soldering iron all cleaned up. Let's go ahead now and test the continuity again. All right, we're gonna see if the resistance is good. So we're gonna zoom out. Let's get this guy again. And now it should show pretty much everywhere. If I connect this to the middle pin, there you go. You can see it's good on the outer edges. Okay, and then it shouldn't connect the middle to the outside. Alright, so let's test that. Wait, maybe it does. Alright, so it does connect to the outer ones. Is that? Wait, no, it shouldn't. You can see if I touch those, it doesn't. Or maybe that's the solder. Oh yeah, it does. Okay, it's just more resistance. Oh, sorry, you couldn't even see that thing. But let's move that down. Okay, if I touch the middle pin here, you can see it goes to 0. Okay, and then if I go to the outside here, we got some resistance there. All right, anyways, it looks like it's good. So I'm gonna get that little pin again, and I'm gonna try moving it around. Give me a second. Okay, and let's test it. Let's see if the pin is kind of moving around anymore. It shouldn't. So we got that here. Okay. And yeah, wiggling it around, it doesn't move up and down. It stays in one place, so we should be good. I semi want to put some of the soldering there, but I won't be able to record that process because I need to hold the board vertically and try and balance it while I'm working on it. So I don't know how I would solder in there and record. Well, let's try. So I'll heat that back up. Yeah, I don't think I can do that. It's just gonna go straight to that piece there. So I'm gonna need to lean this on something to be able to get that to work. So it'll be like that. Let me try. I have a thing that helps hold it. Okay, so we got this guy. This thing's all dusty because I don't use it too often, but let's see. Okay, there. I'm worried I'm gonna accidentally drop the board. Let's put this there and this here. And we'll maybe tilt it all the way to here. This hand's gonna be in my way. Okay, there we go. I think that should be good. So now we can kind of get somewhat of a view in there. Okay. Will I be able to solder that in? I have no clue, because usually people don't solder from the other side. But I feel like it might be necessary in this case because it's coming loose. Let's see here. So we'll try and get in there and put that up. And then I'll try adding solder in there. Okay, so let's heat that guy up. Let's see. Did it work? Okay, it's really hard to reach down to the very edge there. Okay, let me keep trying it. I need a better thing to position the solder. It's not getting hot enough. Not quite. Oh, my hand is just, I don't think you can even see anything. Okay, there we go. I think that's probably as good as it's going to get. The solder doesn't quite want to stick to it right, so I'm going to have to hold this and take a closer look out of the camera. Get rid of this guy. Okay, so let's see here. I don't know if it's quite working. Okay, I think it's good. I'm going to add a bit more solder to this side again. But other than that, I think we're good. So melt that down some more. Add a bit more solder there. The other thing I could do is, while I'm soldering that, I can kind of push on it a little bit with the thing. Oops, where did I put that one? Okay. So I can kind of get this guy in there, and I can use that to kind of flex it a certain way while I heat it. Okay, there we go. I think we should be good there. I'm gonna test the resistance again to make sure it's solid, and then once we make sure, we should be good to go. Okay. All right, so put that away. And let's test this again. I'm gonna have to zoom out so you guys can see again. Okay. Now let's go ahead and test this guy again one more time. Perfect. Perfect. I don't know why it's showing up 1. There should be 0 resist. Oh, there we go. It's probably the coating a little bit. Okay, so we should be good. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. What is that? Why is there a hair? Okay, I'm gonna clean that up a little bit because I don't want to leave the leftover flux there. So we'll get this. And then we just gotta put this whole thing back together and we should be good to go. Clean off that stuff there. There we go, all clean. Take another quick look at this side and looks good. Okay, so let's go ahead now and put this thing back together. So we turn that off. Make sure I don't want to burn anything. Set that aside. Okay, let's go ahead and put this thing back together. We'll zoom out and oops. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. We're just going to go ahead and do everything in reverse. Okay, so we'll take this thing back out. Grab this. Oops. Okay. We do have to go in at an angle and then make sure again that we don't trap any of the cables underneath, because then you're gonna have to take it all out again. All right, so we'll go at an angle like this, make sure all these cables end up back on top. Slowly, carefully lower it down. There's a lot of cables that we have to worry about. We're gonna get the CMOS BIOS battery reconnected before we drop it all the way down. This is going to be tough. One of the speaker wires are also kind of in the way. Let me use the little tweezers to help with this. Okay, then push that in. Good. Alright, we got all these little cables that we need to get out. So make sure this cable ends up on top. Keyboard one, this one. This one goes under, so that's fine. This one needs to go on top. And this one out here needs to go out as well. Okay, and the LCD LVDS cable, obviously. Oops, this went back underneath. And then make sure these rubber thingies don't go underneath. Slowly, carefully, lower it down. Okay. Rubber pieces are out of the way. Okay, so I think we got everything back out of the way. We're gonna go ahead and we need to plug this cable back in. So this one, we have to make sure that latches up, flip it upside down, put that in, just like that, and then make sure you have it in all the way, flip that latch down. I'm gonna lower this back this way. Okay. Oh, let's take the speaker thing back out of the way, I think. Is it in the way? Did this need to go on top? Let's put the speaker on top. I think it was on top before. So we'll get this back in there. That feather out. Get the speakers back down. Okay, we have this one screw. What did I do? Oh. Okay. Make sure this is all lined up. Get that screw in. Perfect. Okay. And we had this one screw that was holding this fan. I'm going to put it first just in case. Alright. Make sure all these connectors things are out. Looks good. Okay. Then we had this one here. Okay, where'd this screw? What just happened? Where'd this screw come from? Huh? Wait, where'd that screw come from? I'm confused. I had one screw here, but there was a random screw that just appeared out of nowhere. I don't know where that came from. Alright, well, I guess we'll figure it out once I get it all back together. So we'll get this in here. Line that up. Oh wait, my bad. There were two screws for this one. Okay. Get this one in. Actually, I should put the wireless card in first. So let's take this back out. We'll get the wireless card in first. Make sure it goes in all the way. This raised part should go nicely in there, fit nicely when you get the wireless card in. Get that screw in. Alright, then we got the two antenna wires. Let me actually zoom in for this. Okay, get the wires. This rubber thing's kind of in my way. Get that lined up. Click that in, good. The black wire, same thing. Make sure it's lined up. You can tell because if you try and move it around, it stays, and then click it down. Alright. Oh, this one actually auto clicked in place somehow. Let me pop it out again to make sure. Yep. Okay, clicked in. All right, let's get in this part now. SD card slot is lined up. Get the 2 screws back in. Okay, good. Oh, that screw is hidden underneath that cable. Okay, so we'll get this back in, make sure the latches are up, get that lined up, push it in, slide that latch down, tape that down, get this one. It's a little bit tricky. Maneuver it in. Okay, and then we'll flip that latch down and get that tape over it. Okay, should I zoom out again? We'll get all these screws back in. This one here. Second one here. Okay, this one over here. This one up here. Oops. And this one right here. Okay, now we got all these little cables that we need to latch back in, so let's zoom in and try and get all of these in place. So we'll flip this latch up and we'll get this back in. There we go. We got this cable here. Oh, I didn't quite pay attention to what the cable up here was for. I didn't pay attention. I think it might be the keyboard backlight, but I'm not sure now. I should have paid attention to that and checked, but let's get that cable in. Okay, put that tape back down. Then we got this cable here. Okay, get that in all the way. Put that latch down. There we go. Oop. Some of the adhesive overlapped on itself. Let's see if we can unfold that. Okay, there we go. Get this out of the way. Get the keyboard cable back in. Flip that latch down, get the touchpad, trackpad cable back in. Perfect. Latch that back down, get this cable back in. Latch that back down, get that tape back over it, get this speaker connector back in, pinch the two together. Alright, we got the LCD LVDS connector here that just kind of folds over here. Make sure to get that back in. Alright, flip that latch over. Then you can go ahead and stick all of this back down. Put this tape back on top. Okay, and I think we got pretty much almost everything. Let's get the hard drive in. Okay. In there, good. drop that in. Oops, sorry, I was going out of view. Hopefully you guys were able to see how I did that, but basically like this. Add an angle, line it up, get it in, drop that in place. Oh, these foam pads are, make sure these foam pads come up behind it, okay? And then latch that down, make sure that tape is in. Let's zoom out again. What else we got? I think we're pretty much there. So let's get the battery back in. All right, we've got all the connections. All right, we'll get the battery back in. Make sure when you if you replace the battery, red wires go up this way, black wires go down towards the hard drive. You also can tell because it has these exposed pins and the notch there, that goes face down. All right, so we'll line that up. Okay, then we can go ahead and push that connector in. It might be a little tricky. Okay, come on, come on. Okay, I'm gonna go from both sides like this and then pull it. Come on, why is it going in? There we go. Okay, make sure that's in. All right, perfect. We've got all these little rubber thingies. Make sure that goes all the way into this, past this notch, and this one here, and there we go. Okay, so let's get the cover back on. Okay, so we got this piece here. So this one, you can actually see these little feet on it, okay? So that side goes at the top end. So we're gonna flip this over here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this, and we're gonna kind of line it up here. You can actually see there's like holes for these feet, so you get that in there. And once you get it in those holes, you can kind of just swing it over. Okay, and it just swings over that way. And this piece again is broken, so can't really do much with that. But yeah, okay, let's get the bottom cover now. Okay, actually, let's plug it in real quick and make sure it turns on before we do all of that. Or not turns on, but the light turns on. Okay, so we've got that plugged in. Moment of truth, we're gonna plug the charger in here. And there we go, the light's on. All right, it took a long time, so that kind of had me worried. And then as we wobble it, forward, backwards, down, whatever, you can see we unplug it, it turns off, plug it back in, and give it a few seconds. And there we go, the light is good. So let's get the bottom cover on. Looks like we're good to go. All right. So we'll get this back lined up. We'll get the bottom in first here. Work our way up towards the top, and then this, make sure that this kind of clips in over this thing. You might have to kind of get in there and lift it a little bit, but there we go. It all clipped in. And now we just got to get all these bottom screws back in. We should be good to go. All right, hopefully this video helped you guys out. Again, if it did, please make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And again, if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Other than that, you're welcome to stay as I get all these screws back in. But yeah, I think we're good to go here. I will power it on because some people ask like to show it turns on. I mean, the main thing is you just need to see that that charging light is coming on now. But yeah, let's get all these screws back in. And then we should be good to go. Get the factory seal screw down here. Okay. And I'm glad that worked. So we actually we probably won't need that charge port. Hopefully I can return it because I don't need it. But yeah. All right. Okay. Last few screws. And we shall power it up. Right, it's a good thing that it just broke that way. I wonder why. Like, I guess they didn't put enough solder, and maybe they didn't use enough flux, so the solder didn't stick. But that's what happens. All right, got that. Let's go ahead and flip this guy over. Make sure it's still charging, and it is. Open this up. So much dust. And let's push the power button. Can I push it? Huh. Oh. The power button's like not too responsive, so push it. Is it doing anything? Wake up, computer. I hope it wasn't more than the charge port. They might have like fried it while like it was loose. Let's see. I see the hard drive light, it like blinks and then it doesn't do anything. Oh, I feel the hard drive spinning right now. Wait, the hard drive is spinning. Okay, so maybe because we disconnected the CMOS BIOS battery, it might take a while to boot up. So let's give it some time, because I do hear some stuff spinning here. Oh, it turned itself off. Oh, turned itself back on. There we go. Yeah, that scared me. I was like, oh, it's dead. But as you can see, a lot of times when you disconnect the CMOS BIOS battery, it takes a while to boot up. So just be a little patient. Try and hear if you hear anything spinning. I heard the hard drive spinning and the fans. Kind of scared me. But you can see now it's working. This light is on and it's booting up. So let's actually wait till it finishes. And then I like to always do a restart after it's done, just to be safe, to make sure that the computer's working completely. All right, so you can actually see date and time is screwed up. It's showing Sunday, October 23rd, 10:02 p.m. The actual date and time is March 6th, 8:34 p.m. Okay, so anyways, let's go ahead and restart this thing real quick. So I'm going to just do a restart here, and we should be good to go once it restarts. Okay. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you watch a bunch of my other videos so you can learn more about how to fix these computers, take apart all these different ones. And I'll see you all in the next one. All right, let's drop this. Bye.